TV soap news and spoilers say that in the sprawling, emotionally charged narrative of Beyond the Gates, a soap opera that has captivated audiences with its intricate web of relationships and dramatic revelations, the story of Samantha and Tyrell Carter unfolds like a storm brewing on the horizon. This tale, set in the fictional town of Willow Creek, is one of fractured families, buried secrets, and the relentless pursuit of truth. At its heart lies a question that has gripped fans: will Samantha uncover the identity of her biological father, and what will her journey to reconnect with her past reveal about the ties that bind, or break, a family? A fractured beginning. Samantha and Tyrell, now teenagers on the cusp of adulthood, were born to June Carter, a woman whose life was once a tapestry of chaos woven by the threads of addiction. June, portrayed with raw intensity by actress Lila Monroe, was a figure both tragic and polarizing. Her struggle with drug addiction in the early seasons of Beyond the Gates painted her as a mother who loved her children but was ensnared by demons too powerful to overcome. Unable to care for Samantha and Tyrell, June made the heart-wrenching decision to surrender them to an orphanage, hoping they would find a better life than she could provide. The decision was a wound that never healed, a scar that marked June's soul and set the stage for the drama that would unfold years later. The siblings were eventually adopted by Smitty and Martin Reynolds, a couple whose warmth and stability offered Samantha and Tyrell a new beginning. Smitty, a stoic yet fiercely protective former firefighter, and Martin, a compassionate teacher with a penchant for nurturing, became the anchors of their lives. Their home in Willow Creek was a sanctuary, filled with love, laughter, and the promise of a future untainted by the shadows of their past. Yet, as the seasons of Beyond the Gates progressed, it became clear that the past is never truly buried. It lingers, waiting to resurface at the most inopportune moments. The return of June Carter. The turning point in this saga came in Season 5, when June re-entered the lives of her children like a ghost stepping out of a fog. No longer the hollowed-out figure consumed by addiction, June had undergone a transformation that stunned both the characters and the audience. Through years of grueling rehabilitation, therapy, and sheer determination, she emerged as a woman striving for redemption. Her once gaunt frame was now filled with a quiet strength, her eyes no longer clouded by despair but alight with hope. June's return was a bombshell, detonating the fragile equilibrium of the Reynolds household and igniting a firestorm of emotions. For Samantha, a bright and introspective 17-year-old with a penchant for poetry, June's reappearance was a revelation. She had always felt a void, a missing piece of her identity that neither Smitty nor Martin could fill, despite their unwavering love. The discovery that her biological mother was alive, and seeking to reconnect, stirred something deep within her. Samantha's heart was a battlefield of curiosity and caution, torn between the safety of her adoptive family and the allure of a mother she barely remembered. Her dreams were haunted by fleeting memories of June's voice, soft and melodic, singing lullabies before the darkness of addiction stole her away. Tyrell, on the other hand, was less forgiving. At 16, he was a young man hardened by the knowledge of his mother's abandonment. His memories of June were not of lullabies but of empty promises and the cold walls of the orphanage. Tyrell's loyalty lay with Smitty and Martin, the fathers who had given him stability and a sense of worth. To him, June's return was an intrusion, a threat to the family he had fought to build. His defiance was palpable, his words sharp as he declared, "She gave us up. She doesn't get to waltz back in and play mom now." A house divided. The tension within the Reynolds household was a powder keg, and June's presence was the spark. Smitty, in particular, felt the ground shifting beneath him. As the patriarch who had poured his heart into raising Samantha and Tyrell, he viewed June's return as a personal affront. His love for his children was fierce, almost primal, and the idea of sharing them with the woman who had once abandoned them was unbearable. In a heart-wrenching scene in episode 12 of Season 5, Smitty's stoic facade cracked as he confided in Martin, his voice trembling with fear, "What if they choose her? What if we lose them?" Martin, ever the optimist, tried to soothe his husband's fears, but even he could not deny the growing rift in their family. Samantha's decision to meet June was the first fracture in the foundation. She approached the meeting with a mix of trepidation and hope, her heart pounding as she stepped into the quaint coffee shop where June waited. The scene was a masterclass in emotional storytelling, with the camera lingering on June's nervous smile and Samantha's hesitant steps. Their conversation was tentative at first, a dance of strangers bound by blood. June spoke of her regrets, her voice breaking as she recounted the years lost to addiction. Samantha listened, her eyes searching her mother's face for traces of the woman she once knew. By the end of the meeting, a fragile connection had been forged, a thread that Samantha was determined to follow, even if it led to painful truths. Tyrell, however, refused to entertain the idea of reconciliation. His anger was a shield, protecting him from the vulnerability that came with acknowledging June's efforts. In a heated confrontation, he lashed out at Samantha, accusing her of betraying their adoptive parents. "You're chasing a fairy tale," he spat, his words dripping with resentment. "She's not our family, Smitty and Martin are." The siblings' relationship, once unbreakable, began to fray under the weight of their differing choices. The quest for the father. As Samantha grew closer to June, a new question began to burn within her: who was her biological father? The mystery of his identity was a shadow that loomed over her, a piece of her story that remained unwritten. June was evasive when pressed, her answers vague and tinged with pain. "It's complicated," she would say, her eyes darting away as if fleeing from a memory too heavy to bear. But Samantha was relentless, her curiosity fueled by a need to understand her origins. She began to piece together clues from June's stories, snippets of a past filled with fleeting romances and broken promises. The audience, too, was hooked on this mystery. Social media buzzed with theories about the identity of Samantha and Tyrell's father. Was he a figure from June's past in Willow Creek, perhaps a character already known to viewers? Some speculated that he was Victor Langston, the enigmatic businessman with a murky history who had recently returned to town. Others pointed to Ethan Carver, a former musician whose brief romance with June was hinted at in Season 3 flashbacks. The speculation reached a fever pitch, with fans dissecting every episode for hints and clues. Samantha's quest took her down a labyrinth of secrets, each revelation more dramatic than the last. In a pivotal episode, she discovered an old photograph tucked away in June's belongings, a faded image of a young man with piercing blue eyes, his arm draped around a smiling June. The back of the photo bore a single word: Ethan. The discovery sent shockwaves through Samantha, who confronted June with the photograph, demanding answers. June's reaction was visceral, her face crumpling as she whispered, "He didn't know. I never told him." The revelation that Ethan Carver might be her father set Samantha on a collision course with her past, determined to find him and uncover the truth. The ripple effects. The ripple effects of Samantha's quest were felt throughout Willow Creek. Tyrell, though resistant, could not escape the pull of the mystery. Despite his anger, a part of him yearned to know the truth, if only to understand why their family had been torn apart. His reluctance began to waver when he overheard a conversation between Smitty and Martin, revealing that even they had questions about June's past. The realization that his adoptive parents were as much in the dark as he was softened Tyrell's resolve, and he began to entertain the possibility of confronting June himself. Meanwhile, Smitty's fears intensified. He saw Samantha's growing bond with June as a betrayal, a rejection of the life he and Martin had built. His protective instincts clashed with his love for Samantha, creating a storm of conflicting emotions. In a moment of raw vulnerability, he confessed to Martin, "I'm scared she's slipping away from us. What if she finds her father and decides we're not enough?" Martin, ever the voice of reason, reminded him that love is not a zero-sum game, but the words did little to ease Smitty's pain. The town of Willow Creek itself seemed to pulse with the drama, its streets and cafes buzzing with whispers of June's return and the mystery of the Carter siblings' father. The show's writers leaned into the tension, weaving subplots that mirrored the central conflict. Neighbors took sides, old grudges resurfaced, and long-buried secrets began to unravel, threatening to upend the lives of everyone in Beyond the Gates. The path forward. As Season 6 looms on the horizon, the question of whether Samantha will uncover her father's identity remains unanswered, a tantalizing cliffhanger that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. Her journey is one of courage and vulnerability, a young woman navigating the treacherous terrain of family and identity. Each step brings her closer to June, but also closer to truths that could shatter the fragile bonds she has forged. Tyrell's path is no less compelling. His reluctance to embrace June is a shield, but one that is beginning to crack under the weight of his curiosity. Will he join Samantha in her quest, or will his loyalty to Smitty and Martin keep him tethered to the life he knows? The dynamic between the siblings is a microcosm of the show's broader themes: the tension between past and present, the struggle to forgive, and the search for belonging. For June, the road to redemption is fraught with obstacles. Her desire to reconnect with her children is genuine, but it is tempered by the guilt of her past and the fear of what her revelations might unleash. The identity of Samantha and Tyrell's father is a secret she has guarded fiercely, but as Samantha presses closer to the truth, June must decide whether to protect her children from the pain of the past or to set them free with the truth. Smitty and Martin, too, face their own reckoning. Their love for Samantha and Tyrell is unwavering, but the re-emergence of June forces them to confront their insecurities and redefine what it means to be a family. The show's exploration of their relationship, two men navigating the complexities of parenthood in a world that is not always kind, adds depth and resonance to the narrative, making Beyond the Gates more than just a soap opera, but a reflection of the human experience. A story that resonates. At its core, Beyond the Gates is a story about the ties that bind us, whether by blood, choice, or circumstance. Samantha's quest to find her biological father is more than a plot device. It is a journey of self-discovery, a search for the pieces of herself that have been missing. Tyrell's resistance, June's redemption, and Smitty and Martin's fears all weave together to create a tapestry of emotions that resonates with viewers. As the show continues to unfold, fans eagerly await the next chapter in this saga. Will Samantha find Ethan Carver, and if she does, will he be the father she hopes for, or a disappointment that breaks her heart? Will Tyrell find a way to forgive June, or will his anger keep him trapped in the past? And what of Smitty and Martin? Will their love be enough to hold their family together, or will the shadows of secrets tear them apart? In Willow Creek, where every corner holds a story and every heart harbors a secret, the answers lie just beyond the gates. For Samantha, Tyrell, June, and the Reynolds family, the journey is far from over. And for the fans of Beyond the Gates, the wait for the truth is a delicious torment, a reminder that in the world of soap operas, the drama never truly ends.